Hey guys, we got some exciting news, and to bring about what this news is really about, I got the YuYuverse tier leader with me today, and his name is Kind Squared. Take it away, Kind Squared.
Hey, what's up, Chompy's YouTube? Thank you guys for having me again. I have some huge news. YuYubers is rebranding because we are getting recognized by Smogon. Uber's YuYu is the next new Smogon format. Have you ever wanted to use Palafin again? It's not that good in Ubers. Have you ever wanted to use Baxcalibur since it's banned? Neasler just got banned. None of these Pokemon have very good usage in Ubers. They don't have a role. They're overwhelmed by all the legendaries. This is where Uber's YuYu comes in. Uber's YuYu is a format where we take Ubers and treat it exactly like OU. To get from OU to YuYu, the tier underneath it, you take all the mons with a high usage and you throw them out. You ban them. We are doing the exact same thing. We're taking all the high usage mons in regular Ubers, stuff like Koraidon, Miraidon, Kyogre, Fluttermane, and we're throwing all of those out and we're seeing what the meta is that we're left with. This has been really, really fun. We started this in October. Chompy was the first Poketuber to make a video. Shout out to you for that. And since then, YuYubers has exploded. We have more people in Discord than the actual YuYu Discord. We have 2,200 people. In a single week, we have over 1,600 games played on a side server, but we're no longer on the side server. Right now, as you're watching this video, YuYubers has been released. We have our own Smogon forum page, we have our own Smogon ladder on Pokemon Showdown, and we have our own chat room within the Showdown system underneath the unofficial metagames category.
Now, if we look at the YuYubers or Uber's YuYu ban list, you'll actually see a couple interesting Pokemon that are banned. Take, for instance, you got Great Tusk, Ribombee, Skeledirge, even Landorus, Therian, Grimmsnarl out of all Pokemon, which is kind of irrelevant now in Generation 9. All these Pokemon are banned that are not normally banned in regular OU. This is because, as Kind Squared explained earlier, in the Uber's YuYu, we take the usage stats of Ubers and compare it and see which one hits the 4.52% threshold. If they do, they remain in the Uber's ban list, but if they don't, they are regulated down to the Uber's YuYu tier where they can be played. Great Tusk, for example, is having a high usage in Uber's tier, therefore it will not be applicable to be used in the Uber's YuYu tier.
This allows for a really interesting metagame. This is a high power tier. We have Arceus forms, we have Dialga, we have Palkia, we have Spectrier running around. But it's not crazy, and we don't have some of the really common staples. Kingambit, Great Tusk, Ting-Lu, they're running around both OU and regular Ubers. If we didn't ban any of those mons, then they would be running around YuYubers dominant, just like these other tiers. YuYubers is really unique because it bans some of those really common staple mons, and we're left with all of these other different interesting mons that suddenly find themselves with a niche. So let's look at some of the top usage Pokemon in Uber's YuYu. First, at the very top, and it's always been at the very top, we have Magearna. Magearna acts a lot like, say, Landorus Therian did in Generation 8 OU. It is the glue that holds teams together. Magearna can do anything you want. It can go Choice Scarf, it can go Choice Specs, it can set up Sweep, but its real power is in its utility. It can set spikes, it can Encore, it can Volt Switch out, it can run Ice Beam for surprise hits on the ground types that try to switch in. It can run Specially Defensive and Terra Water to take care of Chi-Yu, or it could run Physical Defense to wall Zacian. It actually received nerfs in Generation 8, and therefore, while it's extremely good, it's not overbearing. It runs Play Rough, it runs Close Combat, it runs Sword Stance. Those are almost mandatory. But after that, what do you want to hit for coverage? Do you want to speed up with Trailblaze? Do you want to hit other Zacians with Iron Head? Do you want to hit Goldango with, say, something like Crunch? Or do you want to go Terra Fire or Terra Ground to hit Magearna? There's a lot of different options, and Zacian can't cover them all, so every Zacian has a weakness. The other two really important Pokemon I want to mention are Cyclizar and Palkia Origin. Cyclizar does all the utility you can imagine. Shedtail is legal in Uber's YuYu, so you can use it to get safe pivots in and out. You can rapid spin with Cyclizar, which is super important because our hazard metagame is really restricted. There's not a lot of Pokemon that can set hazards, and even fewer that can remove them. It can knock off, it can taunt, it can even Draco Meteor other Cyclizars. There's a lot of options and variety of what it's going to do when it actually comes in. Palkia Origin is a gigantic wall breaker. This thing has 150 base special attack. The orb that it holds to transform creates an extremely powerful wall breaker. This thing often runs Substitute, Spatial Rend, Hydro Pump, and then maybe one coverage. Do you want to hit Magearna with Earth Power? Do you want to roar out enemy opponents? Do you want to Thunder Wave them and slow them down, say an incoming Zacian? You have a lot of options, and Palkia is super versatile. Finally, I want to talk about Arceus, because about half of the Arceus forms are legal in Uber's YuYu. So, Arceus, all the best types you can imagine. Fairy, Ground, Water, Electric, all of those super powerful types are banned. So, we're left with the weaker half. We have Poison, we have Ice, we have Bug, and Rock. So what do these Arceus forms do? The crazy thing is they can basically do whatever they want. They can run Cosmic Power, Stored Power. They could run Swords Dance Flare Blitz. They could run Extreme Speed. They could go Calm Mind with Taunt and a single attack. They have Recover, which is super good. They have tons of defensive utility like Will-O-Wisp or Roar or Stealth Rocks. Picking one Arceus form is super important, and we've actually created a handy graphic for what Arceus forms do what jobs that you're seeing on screen right now. There's an absolute ton of variety. You can really pick one that perfectly suits your team, and Arceus is good in almost every circumstance except Arceus Bug, sorry to say.
And so now let's go talk about the variety of playstyles. I'm not going to talk about through every single playstyle you'll see in Uber's YuYu, but I'll go through a couple of them so you guys get a gist of what's going on in this tier. So first up, let's go talk about Rain. And the Rain abusers are like Palkia Origin. Obvious reasons, it's a water and dragon type. You got Pallet with the Jet Punch, Thundurus for pretty good offense, and sometimes there's actually a special appearance of Overcloak, which you can see in the usage stats above on screen right now. Next one up I want to talk about is Sand, and Sand teams is actually pretty interesting because Houndstone is unbanned with the last respects now, and you got Garganacl because it's a rock type. And actually something pretty interesting you do not see a lot because OU obviously banned this a while ago, generations ago, I think like generation 5, but Sandville Garchomp is actually pretty useful, and trust me, it's a pretty good user. The next one we're going to talk about is Trick Room. Trick Room is actually, even though it's kind of unviable in normal singles, and or I guess OU singles and like all that kind of stuff, it's actually pretty viable because they might have abusers and like people that can really set it up. So you got like Ursaluna, you got Dialga, Hoop Unbound, Azumarill, who actually uses belly drum sets in Trick Room or to like abuse it because of its slow speed, and +6 off Azumarill is pretty good actually. So especially under Trick Room where it's the fastest Pokemon now, it doesn't really have to rely on Aqua Jet to always have a speed boost or speed control, not speed boost, sorry, like speed control and or like priority and stuff like that. So it's actually pretty interesting with Trick Room. The last one I'm going to talk about is the obvious, and most people probably hate this playstyle or love it depending on who you really are, and it's Stall, right? You got Stall abusers like Alomomola, just like in OU, Arceus Dark, Blissey, Unaware Clefable now that Dondozo's gone, and Quagsire because Unaware, and yeah, so it can be useful in that area as well. But these are just a couple of playstyles you'll find in Uber's YuYu. There's obviously a ton more like Grassy Terrain, Bulky, Sticky Webs, etc. that you'll be able to find in this tier, and it makes for a variety of different playstyles you'll find in every match, which makes it very intriguing, and you just don't know what's going to happen next, which makes it very fun and keeps you on your toes at all times.
So I want to reiterate, Uber's YuYu is live right now. You can get onto the ladder underneath the section Unofficial Metagames or UMs. That's where you'll find Uber's YuYu. You can also go to our Smogon forum page linked in the description. We have the usage stats, we have the sample teams, we have the viability lists, we have role compendiums. Any sort of resource you could want, we've got it in those forums. We're live right now, we're playing right now. There's a $300 tournament that people have signed up for. Unfortunately, you can't sign up for it anymore, but you can see people competing for that money right now. You guys should check out the Discord, check out the Smogon, or just go on Showdown and start playing it right now. I'm definitely going to be on for a while.
This is an awesome new tier that's available to play in right now in Smogon, and I promise you, those of you guys who are watching this video and not giving this tier a try, you guys will have a blast with this tier, trust me.
Alright, thank you Chompy for having me one more time. He has done some amazing things for the scene. The scene would not have exploded the way it did without him. So thank you. I said this last time, I'm going to say it again. Like to Chompy, subscribe to Chompy. If you want to see more YuYubers content, let us know in the comments and show him some love. Thank you so much.
And shout out to Kind Square for making such an amazing format, seriously. A lot of people are having fun, including me, even from the outsider's perspective if I'm not playing it all the time. And it's been a blast to see this tier grow. And so be sure to really give it a try, guys, if you guys haven't already. I promise you guys will have a blast, and it'll make your mind go like pow. You could use Arceus. Like, come on, you guys gotta try this out. Before we end this video, I do want to give a big shout out to always my members. Thank you for my members or everyone here on Patreon and YouTube membership. If you guys wish to support me even more on these YouTube videos, competitive videos that I've been making, be sure to click the link in the description down below for both Patreon or YouTube membership, whatever you want, or just watching this video. It just helps me a ton. And be sure to also join the Chompy Discord, my own personal Discord, where you can chat with me, get more personal with me, just get close with other community members that are in my Discord. I promise you guys will have a ton of fun. And yeah, until the next video, which should be going live probably tomorrow or the next day, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching as always.